So, the DC Universe, starting with the Dark Knight trilogy. What can I say? It is celebrated as the best of the DC of our recent times because it starts and finishes. There's no break in it, there's no cash change. You see him at the beginning, you have a movie in the middle, and then you see him fall, where you could have him either given the mantle over to another character in the DC universe, but you don't. Some ways you could think of the Dark Knight trilogy the same way as the Daniel Craig James Bond. Because with Daniel Craig James Bond, you see him becoming a 00, and then you see him die at the end of No Time to Die. Daniel Craig's Bond encapsulates the whole of James Bond. The Dark Knight trilogy does that. And for Batman, that covered it for me, personally. So when The Man of Steel came to the screens, I personally was slightly narrow-minded because of the fact that I had watched Christopher Reeves play Superman, and that was that. Nope. No one else is playing him. No one's going to be better than him. I won't bother giving it a will. I gave it a will. I enjoyed it. It was a tribute to Christopher Reeves, who brought him into the cinematic world in the 70s through into the 80s. For Batman vs Superman, me personally, I've got no qualms on this. I enjoyed the movie. It was a bit like watching a Rocky movie. You've got two people going against each other, and then finding out that they were getting framed, that Lex Luthor was behind it. And as I said earlier, no problems with it. But anyway, now we're on the Suicide Squad, which we had loads of characters introduced. You've got Margaret Robbie, who plays Harley Quinn. Also, you've got Will Smith as Deadshot. Now, he plays a very good character. There's a very interesting scene in it where he absolutely goes tonto on them. But anyway, now we get to Wonder Woman, which is the first Origins movie since Man of Steel, because of the fact that the next movie after Man of Steel was Batman vs Superman, which ends up putting so many characters on it, it's unreal. But anyway, I suggest not bothering watching this Justice League. Watch the Zack Snyder. Have a nice, extremely big tub of popcorn and watch it. It's worth the time. Anyway, now I get to Aquaman, which it's alright. I enjoyed it, but it's another Origins movie, and that's the main thing. That's one of the things that DC haven't been doing much of. And then you get Shazam, which for me is the funniest DC movie at this point in time. And that's something that DC does not do. Funny. Yet Shazam was funny. I wanted to watch it multiple times. Look at Deadpool. That's funny. And you got bits and bobs in the other movies that are funny. So now we get to the Joker, who for me, the first person who played the Joker was Jack Nicholson. And then everyone's favourite, Heath Ledger. Then in Suicide Squad, we got Jared Leto. Now that was cool to have a Jared Leto, but now we've got a standalone, not connected canon movie here called The Joker, which I saw nice and dandy, as long as you're going to bring in, say, a multiverse sort of thing. But I can't see that happening anytime soon. But it would help tying up all those movies that they decided to drop for this, that, and the other. With this movie, with the Joker portrayed as Joaquin Phoenix, the only downside to it is that it's not actually connected to anything. It's a standalone, non-canon, as I said. But this goes very dark side, and it's interesting because it shows how the Joker became the Joker. I don't know if this movie is canon or what, but The story it tells is intense about him having mental problems. If only it was actually the same actor. So the discrepancy is the different actor, and that's the point in this movie. That I'm not keen with because there's nothing like, say, continuity. And whilst I'm talking about continuity, if you remember at the end of, say, Shazam, you see Superman at the end, which then we found out Henry Cavill was then dropped. Why bother having the Easter egg at the end? Seriously. Anyway, now we're with Harley Quinn and her side movie with her Birds of Prey. Some people aren't keen with it, but it's good as it is on its own. This had to deal with the fact that there was actors who were getting dropped by the DC universe. So then we get to the point of actors getting dropped left, right, and centre, with Henry Cavill as one, and also the different actor playing, say, the Joker. Continuity again. There's nothing like continuity where you've got the same actors playing the same roles and everything being intertwined. Now we get to Wonder Woman 1984, and for me, it was alright. Yes, you have Chris Pine's character back, no problem there. It's a Wonder Woman movie, no problem there. You're using the same actors. Now that's what I'm wanting, the same actors and actresses. Anyway, here's the best. One of the only movies I'm keen on, I have to say personally, Batman vs Superman and Shazam. You get questions, and this, that, and the other, from the original shortcut compared to this that are answered in this. And I find it, like a Lord of the Rings movie, extended, brilliant. Now we get to the second Suicide Squad, because the first one apparently flopped. You've got two actresses in this that are the same, and that's about it. I don't get it why they had to do a reboot, bar the fact that they were trying to make it better. But anyway. I had mentioned that there's no multiverse. There is. This is in Earth 2. The slight thing is they weren't working up to it whatsoever. This literally popped out of nothing. Like, there was no upcoming connection with movie-wise. Literally, here's a Batman movie. Which we wanted an Origins, Batman, with Ben Affleck's Batman. Just before Batman vs Superman. That's the only thing about Batman vs Superman. That was supposed to be an Origins movie for Batman, but anyway. Now we get to Black Adam, which, as we heard, different actors, directors started dropping out of the woodwork like no one's business. So the only reason I watched this is probably because it's a Pierce Brosnan movie. That was it personally for me. Because there's no reason why I should actually watch this if you're going to reboot. The sad thing is, this was the last DC movie I wanted to watch because of that fact. Here we had Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I haven't watched that yet. We've got The Flash. I haven't watched that yet either. Because I can watch it at any point. It's not going to mean anything to the upcoming canon movies, so I can watch it at my leisure. See the problem here? And now we've got, as far as I know, the last Aquaman movie with the original cast. Talk about a waste of time. They should have got their stuff together instead of trying to do something like this, like the Marvel movies. And look, you've got consistency. You've got all the actors, bar, say, Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo Hulk, as well as James Rhodes, played by Terrence Howard, then replaced by Don Cheadle. Both Don Cheadle and Mark Ruffalo then sticks to the end with the saga. And with the change of actors, does it change the storyline much? No. Is it consistency? Yes. Is it a waste of time watching the Marvel? No.